Today I bring you 3 somewhat new plugins that I consider to be worth playing with. As always, I only select the best for you, so if you appreciate that, subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. Also consider becoming a member of the channel or a patron, both have the same benefits, and that way you can support me even further. Thank you so much. So first of all we have Scirocco. It's like a lo-fi effect, but it's not your typical lo-fi effect. It's not emulating like a tape, cassette or anything, it's more like a chorus with a distortion. And you have control for the LFO, you can change the shape of the LFO, and the phase, which will actually start changing the phase of the left and the right, giving you that stereo effect. You can also start making the shape random, so the movement is more complex, and you can even use the mod envelope to get even crazier results. Now, why I said it's also a distortion? Well, it's very interesting, especially if we read it out of the webpage. It says, Scirocco comes with an analog model, state blendable tone control, that enables continuous transmissions from low pass to high pass, with 4 different slope settings. The tone control algorithm is pushed to its limits and saturated to obtain the characteristic multistage dynamic distortion, which varies significantly depending on both the slope and the color settings, and can give you anything from a classic overdrive tone to a gated, fuzz sound filled with subharmonics. Did you get that? Let's test that out. The sounds that you can get with this are very interesting. It's true that it's a chorus / vibrato and also a distortion, but it's also true that it's neither. It's a little bit its own complex effect, which is made very easy to use. It's 60 euros, but you can download a demo, so definitely check it out and see for yourself if you like it. Next up we have Chameleon by Dark Palace Studios. This is like a disperser with steroids, or even a disperser with deeper features. But it's really easy to understand. I'm going to be using only Chameleon X because it can give you the same results as the other Chameleons which comes with the bundle, but also because it's the extremer one, so it lets you create very complex sounds. So basically this is an all-pass filter. An all-pass filter is a filter that doesn't filter anything, but it has the phase flip, because filters are based on phase cancellation and boosting. So you can still change the sound, but in a really subtle way if you're using only one phase flip. A disperser kind of effect is a lot of phase inversions in the same place, or around the same place. So with this number at the bottom, we can actually increase the number of phase shifts that we are using, and if we increase it, we will have that disperser kind of sound. Now, what's crazy about Chameleon X is that we can go up to 100 different poles, and we have a bunch of parameters to start spreading those poles in different ways, also changing their behavior or how do they relate to the center of the band. For instance, we can spread them in a wider manner, or we can add offset from the middle. We have a skew control that will make them go more together to the center or less together and more to the sides. We can change the filter sorting, and the filter fallback is actually visible when we go to the end of the spectrum. In this case, when we reach 15 kHz, the filters will come back. The Q factor will make the filters steeper. And finally, we have this Q skew, which depending the side that is going to increase the Q of one side over the other. Now, this has a delta control that will let you hear only the things that you're cutting, and that will create some sort of bandpass filter with a very weird and special kind of sound. Now there's only one downside, and it's this plugin doesn't have a demo, but in the frequently asked questions, the developer explains why. You may agree or not with him, but that's a thing that you have to know. But other than that, it's very cheap and it does what it says it does. By the way, the developer offered me an affiliate link, so if you want to buy it, consider using it, and that way you can also support the channel. Thank you. The final plugin that we're going to check is a free one, and it's a plugin built on plug data. This is EB Morph by Iwan Bistro. He says this is like a free M morph from Melda, and that means it will let you morph from one sound to another depending on spectral parameters. So depending on the block size, the frequency beams of a Spectral will start interacting with each other, transforming one sound into the other. It's pretty easy to use. You just load it up, set the second sound as a sidechain input, and then you just play with this slider. Now you can even select to hear only one of the sounds or go straight in the middle, which is a mixture of both. And I gotta say, it can create very complex and interesting sounds, for instance, by combining this very high energy kind of bass with this more subtle kind of arpeggio. Now, other experiments I wanted to make was to morph between an arpeggio to another, both with different timbres and different notes. And to try to change the timbre of a snare with different kind of sounds. For instance, another bass, or a vocal, or whatever. Now, as with other Spectral plugins, the results are a little bit unpredictable. Sometimes you will get something that instead of morphing is just like fading, or maybe the mixture of both is not going to be very useful. But that's the beauty of it, because you can go and explore different sounds and experiment a lot. So let me know what you think about these plugins, and of course, try them out. They can give you really interesting sounds, and each one is unique in a way. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye bye.